Hi, everyone, and welcome to today's webinar. My name is Anusha, and I'm the founder of Fintech Calgary. We're so excited to have you all join us and explore how Canadian businesses and fintech innovators can successfully expand into the UAE market. For those new to Fintech Calgary, we are a fintech association uniting like-minded individuals and organizations to drive growth across fintech industry, and our vision is to foster innovation, collaboration, and real-world experiences in the fintech ecosystem. Today's webinar is a perfect example of that mission in action, and we're thrilled to be partnering with TrustCon, a global leader in technology and innovation events. With that, I'd love to pass it back to Madre to introduce TrustCon.
Thank you very much, Anusha. So TrustCon is a tech events company. We host huge conferences in Dubai, but I'm going to get Sanjeev to talk a bit more about that. So Sanjeev is a TrustCon Chief Strategy Officer, and he drives the company's growth and global expansion across tech and sustainability sectors with over 20 years of experience in business strategy and operations. He doesn't look that old. He works closely with the CEO to shape TrustCon's long-term vision and turns emerging tech trends into impactful platforms and partnerships. So at this stage, I would like to share the mic to Sanjeev. Sanjeev, welcome.
Thank you, Madre. Thank you, Anusha. Good morning, Canada. Good morning, Calgary. I hope everyone is excited for today's wonderful discussion. I think it's going to be a great opportunity for all of us to learn something about what's going on in the emerging technologies and future technologies. I will not bore you guys with death by presentation, as we call it. I'll give you a very quick overview of TrustCon. We were born in 2016 by a bunch of friends who came together from different parts of the world. And as Anusha tells me, there are a lot of startups listening to this webinar. We were a startup from the tech city or the Silicon Valley of India called Bengaluru, known for its South Indian cuisine. We actually started from the roof of a very famous restaurant called Nagarjuna. If you Google, and you'll find out. A bunch of friends who had a lot of passion in their minds, spent 15, 20 years with American firms and French companies with a dream of starting something of our own. We made a conscious decision that we will only be doing future technologies and emerging technologies, because we realize that whether you are in healthcare or in retail or pharmaceuticals or oil and gas, technology is going to touch every single sector. And the way technology is changing, when I get a new iPhone, I have to get my head around the new version. Imagine the pressure on the CIOs when they move from cloud to hyper cloud to private and public cloud. I mean, I'm just enthralled with the way the CIOs and the CTOs within different organizations are handling this beautiful change, the beautiful evolvement which is happening in technology. Because keeping that at the center, we launched TrustCon, which stands for Training, Exhibition, and Conferences. In a matter of 4 years, we became the world's fastest growing future tech company. World Blockchain Summit, being our flagship product, went to 15 countries all over the world, whether it was Amsterdam or Frankfurt or Moscow in Russia. We traveled the world. Then came the World AI Show, which again traveled to 11 countries. And then after 2020, when the pandemic got over, the government started calling us and asking us to organize events for them. DIFC, which is Dubai International Financial Center, based in Dubai, our regulator that reports to Ministry of Economy and Ministry of Finance, asked us to do a very small event for them. They said, bring 500 people. You have 6 weeks time, and we want to announce our fintech regulations in the market. Lo and behold, we brought 1,500 people, and now we do a Dubai Fintech Summit, which happens in May every year, with 9,000 global audience covering from 120 countries that have already become the top 3 events across the globe. But I'm not going to talk about that. That's for a different day. Let's quickly talk about Date with Tech.
I'll introduce Satish. So Satish is joining us also from Dubai, but he's a Bangalore-based entrepreneur, and he's the founder and CEO of Simsi AI and Simsi Ventures. With over 30 years of global experience across India, the US, and the Middle East, he blends vision, technology, and leadership to create impact. Previously, he was managing director at an anthology leading Middle East, Africa, and Central Eastern Europe, and as the founder of CEO of Global IMS, which became India's #1 education ICT company, digitally transformed 80,000 plus classrooms. Before entrepreneurship, he worked as a Cambridge Technology Partners in the US. We're very happy to welcome Satish as one of our startup partners, who is going to be supporting us not only in date, but also in future events when it comes to startup pitch competitions and ensuring that the community, the startup community, grows within the UAE. And we are very happy to have him as part of Date. So at this stage, let's hand it over to Anusha. We can go back to explaining Date a little bit later, but let's continue with Anusha. The floor is yours.
Thank you, Madre. It's now my pleasure to introduce our next panelist, Syed Zoaib Ahmed, the founder and CEO of Max ERP. Syed's journey is rooted in hands-on experience after founding and leading Plan Z, a creative and software agency that collaborated with major regional brands across East Asia. He moved into the UAE in 2021 to join Supi as a founder and designer. Through working closely with early stage founders, Syed gained a deep understanding of the challenges companies in GCC face with fragmented systems and reactive management tools. Now moving forward to our next panelist, Ahmed Wahaj, I'd like to introduce a Canadian professional with a master's in commerce and extensive experience in business leadership, management, and strategy. He currently serves as a boarding manager in National Payments Canada and Calgary-based merchant service providing, specializing in payment processing solutions for businesses, particularly in the hospitality sector. With a strong background in commercial and operational development, Ahmed has built a reputation for driving organization growth through strategic planning and collaboration. Today, he'll be representing North American businesses, leading our panel discussion on business expansion into the UAE. I will now pass it over to Ahmed as he takes the mic to engage our panelists, Syed, Satish, and hopefully Sanjeev when he gets back.
Thank you so much, Anusha, for the kind introduction. It's a pleasure to be a part of this discussion today. And as a representative of North America, I would like to begin asking a few questions with Satish and Syed. What's needed and from the businesses that's coming from North America to UAE, what they should encounter. So I would like to start off with Satish first. Or should we wait? It's fine, yeah. So Satish. First question is what does a payment processor need from third-party partners to successfully enter into a UAE market? What are your thoughts?
Thanks, Ahmed. In terms of the payment processing, I think from certainly, there is a regulator specifically with the payment gateway within the UAE, and sort of everyone needs to go through them. Once they are approved, they have, they can work with the, customers, different industries in terms of the payment gateway.
Moving on to the next question, Satish. What should businesses know about taxes and registration when operating in UAE?
Sure. See, UAE is, Dubai especially is probably you can think it's a window to a global market. Let's say if you are a student entrepreneur or a business in Canada or in North America, and if you're looking at international markets, Dubai is probably the best gateway for you to begin internationalization, because you will end up serving whether B2C or B2B. Global businesses. So it's a perfect gateway. That is one. Second, here you will find a lot of free zones in terms of setting up your business. Let's say because this is in terms of the let's say AI, fintech. So I'll highlight a few ecosystem partners that you can leverage. As I think earlier Sanjeev mentioned. DIFC, Dubai International Financial Center, is really the hub in the region. So that's an excellent option for you guys to consider. So in terms of the number, I think the DIFC has about 8,000 plus companies, international companies. They find this as a gateway because of the connectivity. You'll get access to anywhere from 4 to 8 hours flight direct. It's a great opportunity for them. Second, within DFC, there are several segments. Let's say fintech alone, it's again the largest fintech hub, free zone hub. We have about 1,200 plus fintech companies just within DFC free zone in Dubai. Then you also have innovation hub, right? If let's say if you're innovation in general, DFC has a DFC innovation hub that is about 800 companies. Recently AI being the epicenter, DFC recently came up with a Dubai AI license, so that you have a separate regulation for AI companies, and there are about 100 plus companies onboarded. Global AI companies are here, including sponsored by AWS, NVIDIA, you name it, all the top global AI companies are here as part of Dubai AI campus. Personally, we, Simsi AI, in terms of our journey here in the region for the last 4 years, we started as a, DFC Innovation Hub entity, and recently we became an AI licensed entity. So this is a perfect opportunity. So I think going back to the tax portion, I think most importantly, individually, you as an entrepreneur or your team members, 0% income tax, right? So that's a great opportunity for you. You get to keep all of what you earn, than giving out maybe, I don't know, 30, 40, 50%, depending on which part of the world you are in. That is one. Second, as an entrepreneur, as a startup, right? The good news is that, let's say, I believe until maybe $375,000, there is zero profit tax, right? So that's again gives you an opportunity. Initial years you may be investing to break even and then start making profit. You can accrue. I guess when it crosses above 375,000 dirhams, I guess per year, it's only 9% is the tax. So one, for any budding entrepreneurs, whether you're a studentpreneur or a startup, you're probably early stage, idea stage, early stage, or maybe scale stage, you're looking at expanding to UAE or internationally, I would say Dubai would be the perfect window for you, because in terms of the regulation, policy, framework, and it's a huge ecosystem, advantage. For example, I talked about DFC to Innovation Hub. If you qualify as an Innovation Hub company, you get 90% off in terms of your license and all those things, right? And most importantly, there is a lot of ecosystem players. Like let's say ourselves, we support as a Simply startup and innovation platform. We support anybody, students, working professionals, startups, until they become a Series A funded company as a venture studio AI platform. There are similarly many other ecosystems like Ignite. You become sort of a member of them. You get access to mentors, investors, global credits, and so forth. So I think that just before I wrap up, the best way is to network and be part of the events like Date, so that you get an exposure, and then probably become a member of Ignite and some of the other ecosystem players, and build your network, find your way into the market. So that has been my experience, and that's what I would recommend any entrepreneurs at an early stage. Network is very critical, and being part of such events like Date gives you that kickstart of your journey for internationalization through Dubai. Ahmed, back to you.
Thank you, Satish. That's good information. A lot of information actually to process. And I'll move to the third question right now. Like, what's the best way for small businesses to test the UAE market before fully committing?
Yeah. Very good question. So I think you will have to probably take the staged approach. I've seen the best ways. I think I already sort of answered the part question. So one is being part of such large events. That's one. Second, you can usually let's say set up an entity but not be here, right, physically, because let's say it may take a lot more time for you to. You can establish an entity very quickly. You can set up an entity remotely, right? You need not be physically here, and you can choose the best free zone as I suggested. It could be DFC, Innovation Hub, Fintech, AI Campus, right? Which is what I understand most of you are. You can do that remotely. and start reaching out to the market and leverage some of the ecosystem that I mentioned, whether it's Simsi as a startup innovation platform or Ignite is a great platform, again from the Dubai government policy makers. Once you start having traction, that's probably when you can think of moving some of your core members, team members, to be based out of Dubai. Until then, it's direct flight or maybe one connection. You could actually manage the business kickstart remotely.
Wonderful. Thanks, Satish. Moving on to my next question here. What's the best way for North American companies to build business relationships and networks in UAE?
I'll just quickly point out. I think one, networking I cannot emphasize enough. Generally, right? We always talk about network, especially for entrepreneurs and startup, because sale happens through trust, and the trust, the relationship, and you meet them in person. So I think, and also you need to understand the culture, right? And get to know people, understand the market, talk to the stakeholders. So I think being in part of some of the events like Date is very important. You'll get to sort of quickly establish all those 3-4 areas for you to explore the market. And also next is, maybe perhaps exploring what is the right, let's say, licenses or free zones to connect. So probably setting that up as a baseline. Those are the probably 1 or 2, 3 steps that I would recommend for any startups entering.
To all the listeners who are especially from the startup domain, looking to enter the Middle East market, one thing that you can be absolutely sure of for Dubai as an entity is they mean it when they say it. And I'll give you a very simple example. Way back in 2017, Wissam Luta, who was the CEO of Smart Dubai, a newly formed government entity and their role was to make Dubai the smartest city in the world. He was the one who actually endorsed the World Blockchain Summit that started his journey from Dubai. And right at the event, he announced in 2017, mind you, that Dubai is gonna, and they were coming up with their blockchain regulations for the market. Right then and there, he said, Dubai is going to be the blockchain capital of the world. And all of you who are listening and who are playing in this space, you know how Dubai has been leaps and bounds ahead of the curve compared to all the other countries by creating the blockchain ecosystem there, which are not only thriving, they are flourishing. They are way ahead than most of the countries in terms of not only from the crypto side, the digital asset side, but the actual blockchain adoption. Jebel Ali Free Zone has adopted blockchain for the perishable things that come into the port. It used to take 2 or 3 days. Because of blockchain, it takes 2 or 3 hours. And you will find similar kind of use cases everywhere in government, private sector, where you see the actual adoption happening on the ground. And this hunger, which is driven by the governments in UAE, is the sole reason which is driving the private sector as well. The same reason why Sheikh Hamdan, the Crown Prince of Dubai, has launched the Dubai AI Campus. Just Google Dubai AI Campus, which is the initial, Satish, if you have covered Dubai AI Campus, then I don't want to repeat it. But Dubai AI Campus will have 5,000 AI companies from all over the world. And the idea is to grow those AI companies to become the next unicorn. Sheikh Hamdan wants the next unicorn should be born from Dubai, irrespective you're from Canada, you're from India, you're from Indonesia, that doesn't matter. But the next unicorn has to come from Dubai. So with that kind of vision, with that kind of hunger, Dubai, UAE, Saudi Arabia are really the hotbeds for growing future technology ecosystem. Thank you, Ahmed.
Thank you so much, Sanjeev, for detailed information. And Satish, thank you so much. Let's like to ask the last question with Syed here. What challenges new businesses can face when they try to establish themselves in UAE, Syed?
So I think UAE is one of the most welcoming country, and it allows people to come apart from the business. I would say business platform, there's also very acceptance on personal level. So apart from this, the biggest challenges foreign businesses face in the UAE is navigating compliance, payroll, and workforce regulation that may differ from the countries they are coming from, and it differs across free zones and mainland entities as well. So many people underestimate how fragmented and manual HR and finance operations can get here. That was actually one of the reasons we built Max ERP to help companies set up faster, stay compliant, and manage everything from hiring to payroll to reporting in one single platform. It allows new startups and small businesses to focus on growth and instead of all these government regulations.
Wonderful. Thanks, Sayed, for your input. Now just wrap up my questions. I'll pass over to Madre to open any questions audience may have had in general, and then you would answer that. Madre, over to you.
Thank you so much, Ahmed. So at this stage, I want to ask everybody to share their audience questions if there's anything. So I have a question from Asna Hussain, and she's asking, in today's fast-moving global economy, how can business effectively sift through the overwhelming amount of to stay up to date with changing tax, tariffs, and trade policies? Oh, okay, so this is basically, how do you stay up to date with all the changing tariffs and trade policies, especially if you're from a different country? Who would like to take that answer?
Allow me to open the floor for everyone. That's a good question. However, we do understand that every country has different tax or tariff or trade policies. That should not be an inhibitor for any new entity to venture into new domains. I think, greater the risk, greater the results. What we have to definitely understand that if there are opportunities in place, the other areas like tax, tariff, and trade policies can be sorted out if we see that there is a huge requirement within the technology space. So that's one part of the question. If you are referring to, I'm a business and the globe is changing very, very fast. How do I, and you also use the word overwhelming amount of info to stay up to date. So how do I actually take that step of entering into the new market? So there are two things that the government, especially in UAE and Saudi Arabia, are really pushing forward. Number one, there is literally a red carpet welcome for international organizations to make Dubai as their home. The government not only encourages it, the government is very supportive in rolling out such policies that are very friendly to different parts of the world. Just to give you an example, Dubai Multi-Commodity Center, which was started as a commodities-free zone way back in, I think, 5 to 10 years back, have now become a hub for AI. They have an AI center, they have a blockchain center, and there are 6,000 energy companies that are based out of Dubai Multi-Commodity Center. Dubai Silicon Oasis Authority provides full incubation and acceleration for any new ideas. The same goes with Dubai AI Campus, the same goes with DIFC. We work with major government bodies, including Dubai Future Foundation, that is, again, looking at how the future of the world is going to shape up. And they organize an event called Dubai Future Forum. So long story short, the tax regime and all the policies are very, very enterprise friendly. It is open to various countries from across the globe. Dubai is the melting pot for cultures, countries, and it has very favorable conditions to let your business grow. A lot of organizations are looking at Dubai to set up their business and manage not only Middle East and Africa, but APAC and ASEAN, ANZ and New Zealand, Europe and other regions, and they prefer to set up their base within Dubai. A lot of Indian companies were doing it. A lot of African countries were doing it. So we see that happening very, very aggressively, and Saudi Arabia is on the same path. So I hope I was able to answer, do justice with the question. Satish.
Thank you, Sanjeev.
Syed.
I'd like to also, sorry, I'm sorry, who wants?
I think I'll just add one thing to what Sanjeev said. In terms of transparency, Dubai and KSA government are very forthcoming. If their trade regulation or anything like this changes, there's very clear communication from the government. There's special call centers that will assist you and help you to navigate these changes. So they are always there to, I would say, support any businesses or enterprises, and the communication is always very transparent with any remedies that are there if something like this happens also.
Thank you very much, Saeed and Sanjeev. I'd like to pose a question for Satish. Maybe Satish, you can help us with Malia Chowdhury's answer. What are some key cultural or regulatory consideration Canadian startups should be aware of when entering Dubai's tech ecosystem, and how can they best prepare to navigate them?
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you, Madre. Let me just give my own example. I lived in the US for about maybe 2 decades ago. I went to #1 entrepreneurship school called Babson College. Today Dubai, or in the last, I would say, at least what I witnessed in the last 9 years I've been here, policy making is very progressive. I think, as Sanjeev said, this is a global melting pot, right? And I'll tell you my own example. 4 years ago, when we started, we set up an entity in the US to market access, basically sell globally. We had an innovation entity in India, Bangalore, and we had a capital, entity out of DFC, Dubai, DFC in Dubai, right? Recently, with all the, I think the questions related to culture, regulatory happening, now, not only as a capital structure in Dubai, but as a headquarters. We are consolidating global entity in Dubai, including India and the US, and basically we're becoming a global company based out of Dubai, not just for capital, but as a headquarters, right? And others will operate as a subsidiary, and we're expanding to other regions like, KSA, a local entity, and maybe in Central and Eastern Europe region. So I think, probably you will probably not today, you will not find, maybe I've been to maybe 30 plus countries. As I said, what US was maybe a decade or 2 decades ago. And I think today and future is going to be Dubai. And in terms of the culture, it is global. It's a global village. And, let's say if I'm a Canadian company and I want to go international, as I said earlier, Dubai is a perfect place for you to be international ready. If you're able to set up and operate, as Sanjeev said, not only serve the market within UAE or in MENA, but in the region, right? This part of the world, I've seen many entrepreneurs and the startups, they may be doing 80% business outside of the UAE, but the base is here. And I've seen that with a lot of Indian entrepreneurs as well. They're moving their headquarters. So that actually highlights, right, in terms of the, the culture, how to operate. Probably many entrepreneurs actually find easier to operate out of Dubai than their own home countries. So that will sum up in terms of any concerns you may have. I would say, begin your journey with being part of some of the events like Date and join some of the community, and you will soon find out that that's probably the best decision that you made.
Thank you, Satish. I want to highlight just about the cultural aspect. As you can see, we're all, now we have a lot of Indian speakers today, but we're a very multicultural country. Dubai has really made a point of, being very international, with only about 20% actually being UAE Emiratis. The rest of us are all expats, and it's a really lovely expat community with a massive supporting system from the government to have us here. I want to highlight a question that came from Nabia. Nabia has asked, about the energy industry. Are there any government-backed initiatives that encourage energy efficiency innovations? What are some things that our startups should keep in mind when it takes this advantage of this? So yes, Sanjeev has answered already, but we are discussing this on our next event, and that's actually co-located with DATE, called Care for Sustainability, where we're highlighting the initiatives. There is a financial deadline for sustainability initiatives and green finance, a mandate that's happening with the deadline to be in May, and that's very clearly communicated currently throughout all the social media channels. I'm sure Sanjeev can talk a little bit more about that later. Then I have Lucas Miller. He's asking, if a startup founder could only focus on one thing to build trust and respect in the UAE business community, what would it be? Oh my gosh, let's hand this to Saeed. Let's start with him and then to Sanjeev.
So if you can focus on one thing to build trust and respect, I think it would be your work ethic that you can bring here. Every idea is welcome. There's innovations in almost every domain. And I wouldn't say there's one thing in every industry and every domain that you would find a lot of things that you can build here that will bring you trust from the UAE business community. And yeah.
Sanjeev,
And
what's your
if
pick?
I may just add, because it's a very interesting question, Lucas, and thank you for asking that question, because I can completely imagine. We also started from India, and then we are now headquartered in Dubai. Our headquarters is in Dubai. So that's a very relevant question. The way I would like to address this question, Lucas, to be very honest, as a startup founder, the Arab world loves to shake hands. The Arab world loves to see you in person. So one thing I can tell you very honestly is, if you're thinking you can work within the LATAM region or within the American subcontinent through Teams calls and through this webinar, I think the personal touch is extremely important for the Arab world. And Syed and Satish, please correct me if I'm wrong. I don't want to give you false hopes that you have a great technology and you can sell all your solutions based in Canada. That's not going to happen, Lucas. It might happen, but personal touch, personal being in front of them, extremely important, and that builds relationships. Once you are able to be in front of them, win the trust of the local Emiratis, they will go far and wide. They will go above and beyond to make this happen. If you win their trust, you have won their business. So those are my 2 cents about the cultural aspect of what I have understood. And I see Satish and Syed agreeing with me. The other thing that you have asked about energy innovations, UN SDGs, COP28. One thing that I would like to share my screen and show you is something that TrefCon has been doing very, very successfully. And that is one of the reasons why our platforms became so popular and we got the opportunity to work with the governments. Unlike other event organizers to fill the room with anyone and everyone, we went through a pre-qualification process. Let me just quickly show you a quick online form. This is the pre-qualification that has done wonders for our attendees. You can see a senior vice president from UAE, from the real estate sector, with a 500 to 1,000 number of employees, with an annual turnover between $1 million to $10 million, are looking for AI, machine learning, blockchain, DeFi, 5G, next-gen cloud. The budget is a little small, 10K to 50K, but the requirement is immediate within 3 to 6 months. And the gentleman is influence. I refer an influence decision. This is where he sits in the value chain. A CISO for Middle East and Africa from the insurance sector has 10,000 employees, 500 million to $1 billion revenue, is looking for quantum cybersecurity innovations with $1 million and above, with a window to implement these purchasing decisions within 6 to 12 months. Now, this kind of a BANT qualification process is done by TrefCon 3 months before we actually launch a program. These are real buyers with real requirements, with real budgets that assist you to actually engage low-hanging fruits, whether it's the energy sector, whether it is manufacturing, whether it's oil and gas, cross-industry verticals. So 2,000 of these CIOs carefully pre-qualified on different criteria, brought together in Medina Jumeirah at your disposal to forge partnerships, to sign MOUs, to launch your product, and to do actual business. So that's one thing that I wanted to clarify. Over to you, Madhuri.
Thank you, Sanjeev. Yes, I absolutely agree. I'm not sure if Satish also wanted to say something, but being in front of the people, having a shake hand opportunity. And this is one of the reasons we have these platforms where we can have conferences, because this is the opportunity we're giving you. We are making all the effort to bring everybody together on a platform where you can have the opportunity to meet them face to face and have those conversations with the person. And I also really like Lucas's question about trust. It's so important in this region specifically to ensure that when you are promising something that you deliver on that promise. The industry is small, so your name, and it's a small country. So although it's the big opportunities, the industries are small. So you need to make sure that you hold your head high and keep your trust going. So that's very important. Satish.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I think I'm not sure how many of you are following Global Entrepreneurship Index measurement, right? You'll be amazed how in just the recent years, UAE is the #1 entrepreneurial country. If you're an entrepreneur or if you're an innovator, if you think of what is the best place anywhere in the world to be, that's UAE today. And if you are an innovator, you're an entrepreneur, you're building shaping the future, the policy makers are so progressive thinkers, and anything you're bringing, unlike other countries, if you're a startup, maybe you're in a disadvantage. But here, I think as long as you have a vision and a dream, and bring something new, innovative, entrepreneurial to shape the future, you'll be embraced so quickly. So I've been in the US and I've been here and lived in many countries. But what is happening in terms of especially the policy making on innovation, entrepreneurship in the last couple of years, it just amazes. The kind of change that I'm seeing, not in many years, right? Every year, you see so many new initiatives. So I thought I'll just add to everything that Sanjeev and Matt you have shared so far on this one.
Madhuri, if you allow me one quote which I get reminded of is from Adina Friedman, who's the CEO of NASDAQ. She came at our Dubai FinTech Summit platform, which I was just talking about, bringing 9,000 very, very high-level financial leaders at Medina Jumeirah. She said the amount of investment that happens in a month at NASDAQ actually happens in a week in Dubai. Dubai is the melting pot. The investments are flowing. The investors are really, wherever we gave away, just to give you a very quick example, we ran the pitch competition where we had announced $1 million at our event, $1 million of funding to the winner. Imagine how much we ended up giving at TrustCon's event. We ended up giving $9.25 million to 3 winners. We promised 1 million. We ended up giving 9.25 million. So we are walking the talk. The investors, HNIs, family-owned business houses that are participating are also pre-qualified on the criteria. What is your hunger? What is your appetite? Where are you looking to invest? What kind of technologies are in your radar? Is it the AR, VR? Is it the digital assets? Just to add, since we have people from the technologies domain, Russell Khaimah is coming up, and people also asked about the cultural aspects of UAE. So this might give you a very good, quick insight. How many of you are familiar that Russell Khaimah is coming up with its own casino? With a show of hands, tell me, are you guys familiar with UAE coming up with a casino? I think that should give you an insight about the cultural landscape. Who would have imagined that there will be a casino coming up in a Middle Eastern country? That's going to happen in 2027. There'll be a full-blown casino run within Ras Al Khaimah, and the speaker, His Excellency Mr. Paul, who's the CEO of RAC Innovation City. RAC Innovation City is the first city in UAE which is only going to host unregulated digital assets. So if you are in betting, if you are in iGaming, all those businesses will be set up within Ras Al Khaimah. So the opportunity is huge, ladies and gentlemen, and I'm sure the Canadians love the sun. You guys miss the sun a lot anyway, right? So this is the most sunshine-filled country in the Middle East. Let's really come to date, enjoy the sunshine, and enjoy doing some lovely business. Over to you, Madhuri.
I'm going to just give you last little thing for Satish before I hand it over to Anusha.
Sure. Thank you. I'll just take a quick minute. For any entrepreneur, startup, early stage, obviously access to capital, right? It's a very important aspect. And as many of you know now, recently, the kind of money in the region, right? Whether it's KSA, Saudi Arabia, or UAE, a lot of the global VCs are sort of chasing the LPs and the family offices, the kind of assets they manage, right? So if you're an entrepreneur startup, those days we used to say, investors in Silicon Valley, you need to investment, I should be able to drive and meet you in person, right? So that was there. So even from that standpoint, the best place to be in this region. I think the date is a perfect example happening in Dubai and in Riyadh. So that's an opportunity. If you're an entrepreneur looking to, let's say, scale and set up or even talk to investors and raise money at whatever stage you are in, right? It could be pre-seed, seed, scale stage. This is another opportunity that to be in the right place in terms of Dubai or Saudi Arabia in this region. So I thought I'll just quickly mention that because access to funding is most important for, I'm sure, entrepreneurs. Top three things. Back to you, Matt.
Thank you very much. So I'm going to thank you very much, everybody. I'm going to hand it over to Anusha, who's going to finish us off and close us off. And we're very happy to have met everybody and hope see you all in Dubai. So Anusha.
And thank you all so much for joining us today. It's been an incredible session, and we hope that you found some of the insights from our panelists valuable as you explore opportunities for business expansion in the UAE. If you have any follow-up questions or if you would like to stay in touch, feel free to connect with our panelists on LinkedIn. They'd love to hear from you. You can also reach out to us directly at fintechcalgary.ca for any additional inquiries. Don't forget to follow Date with Tech, TrustCon, and Fintech Calgary on social media to stay updated on upcoming events, including the latest announcements and turnouts for the global expos. If you're interested in taking your business to the next stage of global expansion, or if you would like to participate in Date 2025, please feel free to reach out. We're here to help you take those next steps. Thanks again, and we look forward to seeing you at our future events.